Oh, hold on one second. James, one quick question for you. Are you Sam Seder from the Majority Report?
Sam Seder.
Are you still on probation?
Friend of freedom. Are you serious?
I'm just curious. People were asking me if you were still on probation. I wanted to get it from the horse's mouth.
What do you think?
To be honest with you, I have no idea how.
Really? Really? Okay. And what do you think about the government coming after journalists? What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's problematic.
Yes, it's a serious problem. We live in a banana republic. We live in a banana republic if the Hillary Clinton administration can put pressure on television stations and spike our story that now just got mentioned in the
But there is no Hillary Clinton administration right now. They're just campaigning. But they're not the ones who put you on probation.
There's the threat. I'll tell you what, all those people resigned in disgrace. Did you know that?
All which people?
All the people that prosecuted me in Louisiana for entering a federal building using false pretenses, which, by the way, I entered a federal building with my real ID, and they said I had used false pretenses. They should prosecute all the people in Congress for entering their federal building using false pretenses, because they do it every day.
But wait a second. So is your probation over or not?
Yes, it's over, and I wrote a whole book about it. It's a New York Times bestseller. It's called Breakthrough. It describes the political prosecution in the Justice Department against me, because that's what they do in this country to investigative journalists. And frankly, the journalists are now investigating the investigators. You see it in the Washington Post, the New York Times today. They're talking about what I did and how I can do more. I mean, you guys got to do your jobs. If the journalists did their jobs, there wouldn't be a need for someone like me.
But wait, do you consider yourself a journalist?
I'm Captain Kangaroo. What does it matter what you guys call me? The nature of our work is closer to journalism than anything I can think of. We're capturing people.
Well, I'm not asking what we call you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, what do you call yourself?
We're capturing people in the act. In the act. Undeniably breaking the law.
You're also part of the act.
And resigning. Yeah, so was 60 Minutes, so was Diane Sawyer when she won the Investigative Reporters and Editors Award in 1992. So was Primetime Live.
So you are a journalist.
So I am a journalist. I am what I am. And attempts to call me other things is not going to change the nature of what I do.
Are you here in support of any candidate?
No, I'm not. I was invited at the last minute as a guest. Charlie Kirk gave me this ticket. I'm here because, and you saw Donald Trump mentioned our work tonight. He brought up the videos of Hillary campaign working with.
Who's Charlie Kirk?
He works with Turning Points USA, and so I'm a guest here at the last minute. I'm here to. It's a nonprofit organization like Project Veritas, mine, and we're here to promote our independent journalism. I don't think politicians are going to save us. I think that citizen journalism will save us, and I think you and I have a lot in common. I don't consider you an adversary. I don't think you should consider me an adversary. I really don't, because we're both interested in the same thing, right? Truth. I don't care what you're doing. If you're going after Republicans, fine. Democrats, fine, but I think we should not be adversarial. And
operatives going after Republicans as well.
Sure, we've taken down the president of the Senate of Wisconsin, Mike Ellis. He was a Republican. Went after Jim Stansenbrenner. He's a Republican. Hey, Joel. So, but my point is, this is a great moment for citizen journalism tonight to break a video that was spiked by major television, because those publicly traded corporations were afraid of a future Hillary Clinton administration coming after them, and then to be the...
How do you know that?
My sources tell me.
Your sources tell you that it was spiked because they're afraid of the Clinton administration?
Afraid of retaliation from a future DOJ.
Are you going to release the full footage of your tapes?
Why don't you ask all these journalists here if they're going to release their full, raw, unedited notebooks?
But it's a different, but it is, you got to admit, James, wait a second. But James, you have to admit, it's a different thing. Undercover video where it's been shown, I mean, there were several reports that showed during that you have edited tapes in such a way to make your...
Name one edit I've made. I want you to name right now, for your audience, name one specific edit I have made, because I can debunk every one of those reports. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I mean, I haven't made those reports. I'm just saying that there are reports.
I would like
but you can debunk that by releasing the video. Why wouldn't you release all the video?
Because no journalist in their right mind would ever release their raw notebooks. And if they did...
Well, it's not a notebook. It is caught on camera, right?
Let me tell you something. No journalist ever releases their raw, and the reason that, and if they did, If all these journalists released the raw, you would see a different story. They piece words together to paint a specific portrait.
So you pieced words together to paint
I have video. I don't just have words. I have video.
But you're conceding that you.
And the DNC fired both of those people. They fired them.
I know they did, but
And they fired them. And Bob Creamer. That's what journalism is. Journalism is telling a story. Journalism, and I will stand by every single edit. I will be in contempt of court to protect my undercover reporters because I am standing for something greater than myself. I'm standing for the right of citizen journalists. No one here would ever dare release their raw. No one would. You all.
their undercover stuff, no one here would do that.
Mike Wallace at 60 Minutes, Diane Sawyer won a Primetime Live Award at IRE Award.
Were there calls for them to do that because there was questions as to legitimacy?
They certainly hold us to a ridiculously high standard. That's what Andrew Breitbart told me when I got started. They're going to hold us to a higher standard. Listen, you name the edit in my career. It's all obfuscation. The pimp coat? Okay, what does pimp protocol have to do with wearing a pimp coat? You know, they said what they said.
Well, you didn't wear the pimp coat into those
What
offices.
to do with what they said to me?
Well, I mean, I think the problem is, I'll explain it to you. You're saying that you cut together stuff to paint a picture, you perceive that as journalism. And it gave a misleading picture that you had walked into those offices wearing a pimp coat. And so that's why people have questions about what you
So
do.
the New York Times went through those raw ACORN tapes. I will invite you to come to my office and look at the raw. The Inspector General of New York came to my office and looked at the raw, and they said nothing's out of context.
Will you show me the raw footage from the tapes that,
Here.
where is your
I'll
office?
give you my card. Here it is. You can come to my office and watch whatever you want. I have invited many reporters to do that. And I'm telling you right now, I will stand by any edit that I've made. Well, you should ask the Washington Post why they edited out the fact that Bob Creamer went to the White House and met with Barack Obama 47 times. Donna Brazil, ask her why he's going there 340 times in the last few years. He broke the law and he resigned. And the mainstream media has been dragged kicking and screaming on this story.
And do you anticipate he's going to get charged with something?
I don't have the power to do that. My only power is to report the facts, tell the truth. And I'm trying to do the best job. Why would you say that?
Well, you just said that.
No. Report the facts and tell the truth. That's my and if you want to go out there, Sam, and go after Republicans for hypocrisy, do it. I will do it when I build my organization up, and I'll do as much as I can. So I think that we're not adversaries. I don't understand what you could be in disagreement about what I do.
Why do you think I'm your adversary?
Well, I assume you are. Are you?
I mean, well, maybe.
Why? I mean, that I don't understand. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think the narrative that you wanted to paint for places like ACORN in particular, I thought was dishonest.
What do you think of the New York Times going through those full raw tapes and reporting that the most damning statements were in context? That was Clark Hoyt, a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter for the New York Times, went through all the raw tapes and said.
I mean, look, when you try and make an issue of campaign finance because a Canadian tried to buy some merchandise and made a big show of that, it's dishonest insofar as you're projecting an issue that really is completely out of context and out of proportion.
You could argue that some of our stories are smaller, some of them are larger. That particular instance was a story about the campaign workers' willingness to be like, don't worry about it, we can transfer the money a certain way. It was a smaller story. But this story that just came out, it's a bombshell. I mean, you have one of the top operatives at the DNC who goes to the White House. My undercover was invited to the White House. I couldn't go because I couldn't get in, and if I did, you would be asking me about that, breaking the law there. So we were invited to the White House. He was working on an operation to induce violence at protests. Yeah, it is. Yes, I sure will. I absolutely will. Because now they're saying, that they're not even acknowledging the fact that he went to the White House. So we'll release more tapes, but like I said, this is about citizen journalism. It's about something greater than politics. It's about the social media, I've seen, Sam, the social media over the last few days have more power than the mainstream media. I was kicked off Twitter and I was reinstated. The video is #1 trending in the world on YouTube right now, and it forced the New York Times' hand. That's the power of what we're talking about here. It's something much greater than me, and it's something much greater than politics, which is why I think you and I ought to be allies, not adversaries. Hi.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I just had a question. I'm a up-and-coming reporter. I just got this job at Fox News. What do you think?
Ooh.
Citizen journalism, it's unchecked. You don't have an editor. You just have the
Yeah, I'm not sure that's going to happen, but I may go to his office. Hey, it's Sam Seder. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Over. Subscribe.